The human mind is inherently a curious mind, always seeking answers for things that pique this mind's interest. One of the things that piques this interest is word of mouth, especially things that people have seen or know exist, but don't have any proof other than their own words that said things did exist at one point. Today, I want to discuss 5 pieces of lost media that I want to see found someday. At number 5, we have the strange Encarnacion Bechaves commercial. This refers to a television advertisement for a florist in Manila, Philippines, and aired sometime in the 90s and aired into the early to mid 2000s. When it was in syndication, people were fed up with seeing it by the 2000s, and the ad even managed to creep out some people. The source of this discomfort comes from the setting, dark background, uncanny atmosphere, and allegedly features a woman in a red or black dress who slowly turns to face the camera, smiling eerily with her hair disheveled and wild, looking like a witch as she holds up a rose in front of her face.
When the occasion becomes special, you can make it more special with flowers from Encarnacion Bechaves. Encarnacion Bechaves. When you want to show how much you really care.
Since the rise of interest in lost media a few years back, people have searched high and low for this advertisement, but so far nothing has come up. People have even tried reaching out to the florist for any information, but no dice. The reason this interests me so much is that my morbid curiosity makes me really want to see if this ad is as creepy and unsettling as some people who have claimed to view it have described. I've always been a fan of eerie or unsettling things, especially in places you normally wouldn't expect to be unsettled, such as a television commercial, and that's why this piece is on the list. At number 4, we have Super Mario 64 Big Star Secret. In 2007, a Screamer video was posted to YouTube that masqueraded at first as a way to unlock Luigi in Super Mario 64. It was shot via camera pointed at the computer screen, Dark Side Phil style, and has Windows Movie Maker slides giving you quote-unquote directions on how to unlock the Green Plumber. Eventually, the infamous Kathy zombie jump scare was tacked on, ending the video. The video was deleted by the creator of the video sometime in late 2012, and at the time, it had at least just under 700,000 views. I remember seeing this video given that when I was around 11, I was playing a lot of Super Mario 64 DS. It was around early 2008, which eventually led me down the rabbit hole of urban legends and unlocking Luigi this and unlocking Waluigi that, and I remember falling for this Screamer video very early on. I'd like to see this somehow found, just for the funnies. At number 3, we have the Doom 4 prototype. In 2008, it was confirmed that a Doom 4 was in the works at id Software, and development began shortly thereafter. No release date was given and no details were given at QuakeCon of the following year except for the promise that it would be revealed at the 2010 QuakeCon. id Software released Rage that same year, and it flopped with mixed reviews. Screenshots and gameplay of this Doom 4 were leaked in early 2012, and in 2013 it was confirmed that Doom 4 was cancelled, probably because of the failure of Rage, and Doom was being rebooted into what we now know as Doom 2016. There is the aforementioned gameplay footage and the fact that there is a pre-alpha build of the 4th installment of the Boomer shooter that exists and is said to be playable. However, the public doesn't have access to any builds of Doom 4, only being kept by a few developers who worked on the game. As a massive fan of Doom, I'd love to be able to play the latest pre-alpha build for myself just to see where things were headed for the franchise at the time. Doom 2016 turned out to be an absolutely fantastic game and is among one of my favorite games ever, and I'd love to see the different direction that it was headed originally beforehand. If I could squeak in a side note here, I'd love for us to also get our hands on anything regarding Doom Absolution. It was a planned sequel to Doom 64, and I love Doom 64 as well. I want to see more from this era. Anyway, moving on. Number 2, Toy Story. I'm just gonna lump a couple things in this entry because otherwise I'd just be padding out the list. Toy Story is my favorite movie of all time, so it would be absolutely thrilling to see some of this lost stuff crop up for the public to see someday. Let's first talk about the Black Friday reel. In 1992, Pixar was working with Disney on Toy Story, and originally through the direction of Disney, the movie was going to be darker, more cynical, and have more adult humor and subjects. Pixar had over half of the movie done in story reels and presented the rough cut to Disney executives, to which it was poorly received. Right after the fateful showing, this version was scrapped and Pixar completely overhauled the movie in just 2 weeks. Now, this reel isn't completely lost. There are a couple of clips that are readily available to watch. One is a really short clip from a 2007 documentary on Pixar, and a longer clip can be found on the 2010 Toy Story Blu-ray, the scene where Buzz gets pushed through the window. Now, there are some releases that have bonus features that include deleted scenes, such as the Eastern Gate, Shakes the Rattle, and even an early version of Woody's Nightmare, which would be later reworked into Toy Story 2, and as far as I know, these very well could have also been part of the Black Friday reel, but I don't know for certain, so take that with a grain of salt, and if I'm wrong, please let me know down below. As much as I'd love to see the whole reel of this Funtime Friends fable, I'm not holding my breath on it ever being released. The only way that would happen is if somehow, some way, someone inside Pixar were to leak it. But how often do you hear of leaks from Pixar? Disney has lots of mega NDA contracts, and everything that comes in and out is logged, so unless someone has a death wish and wants Disney's hitmen dressed in Mickey Mouse ear caps after them, I really don't see it being leaked. The next thing I want to talk about is anything relating to the canceled Circle 7 animation sequel to Toy Story. The short and skinny of this is, in 2004, due to rising tensions between Disney and Pixar, Steve Jobs, who was chairman and majority shareholder of Pixar at the time, had disagreements with Disney CEO Michael Eisner, and they decided to not renew their contract with Disney. Disney bought out the rights to all Pixar characters up until this point and decided to continue the IPs with Disney's own animation studio dedicated to making sequels to Pixar movies, titled Circle 7 Animation. Eisner said that they could make sequels to Pixar movies that were indistinguishable in quality from Pixar's original work at the time. Yeah, right, I'll hold my breath for that one, Mr. Eisner. Circle 7 had a few movies in the works based on Pixar sequels, and Toy Story 3 was amongst them. Toy Story 3 was originally going to be about Andy visiting his grandmother and Woody's group finding a group of toys that are being progressively disappeared from the attic in a form of whodunit mystery movie. Another draft was made where Buzz began to malfunction, and it turns out that the entire Buzz Lightyear brand had been recalled, and Buzz is shipped back to the factory in Taiwan where he was made. The toys then ship themselves to Taiwan where they have to find Buzz and rescue him. There are pieces of concept art that are floating around and have been for a while now, and there are scripts for 2 versions of the Circle 7 Toy Story 3 that you can look up right now, the Attic one and the Buzz one. There's also another draft of Toy Story 3 that was supposed to be about Andy's mom marrying a man that has a daughter. That would be sort of a blended family story, and you can learn about that draft over on the Hamas Studios YouTube channel. And I'd love to see everything that was developed for this sequel, as I remember when it was announced, including this teaser released on the internet back in summer of 2005 when I was a little kid. This was actually taken from a little pop-up teaser at SIGGRAPH 2005, and I remember being excited that this was happening at the time. And at number 1, the last piece of lost media I want to see is a personal one that was all by my own fault and stupidity during a weird couple years in my life. In 2012, I started a Let's Play channel under the channel name OO Chainlinks OO. There is one particular video I want to find again, and it was the most popular one on that channel. It was my reaction to Sonic 6: The Search for Tails. That really short, creepypasta, quote-unquote game or whatever it was, and my reaction was hammed up to hell and back. And my overall commentary was cringy too, since, you know, I was like 15 or 16 at the time. But in 2022, I was sort of going through a creative crisis and really didn't know what I wanted to do moving forward, so I deleted that channel, and I also deleted Utonical, my other channel, which also has some lost media attached to it as well, but that's for another time to discuss. Back to Sonic 6, someone out there has to have that video downloaded somewhere. At the time I deleted the video, it was a decade after I had posted it, and it had about 500,000 views, and I just want to see it again just for a good cringe. My reaction was fake as shit, and I was hollering at the screen and feigning fear and whatnot, you know, you know, very melodramatic. If there are any lost videos of mine that I want to see again, this one would be the winner. Because looking back, it was an endearing time for me, just doing whatever and just was a kid having fun. And I'm kicking myself every day that I got rid of those two channels. It was one of the dumbest things I have ever done in my life. And that's my list of pieces of lost media that I'd like to see found one day. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for sticking through to the end. And my question to you is, what pieces of lost media would you like to see found? Let me know in the comments. And with that, I'm clocking out of the cafe. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.